So I believe that right now it has truly never been easier to land an online remote sales job. But you're still struggling, and that's probably the reason you clicked on this video. Now, after coaching over 500 sales reps within the online space and hiring many into my own companies, I've gone through a lot of applications. I've seen a lot of people apply for roles. I've seen people land roles on why they've landed those roles, and I've also seen why people haven't landed those roles. And you're probably in this situation now where you might be great at sales already, but you're struggling to land interviews, you're struggling to actually land roles, and you're thinking, what gives? Well, in this video, I want to help you with that. I want to address some of the main issues I'm seeing with a lot of people applying to these online remote sales jobs right now, and hopefully offer you a fix so that you can have success within this space. Because truly there's only two things you need in order to have success as a remote online sales rep, as a high ticket closer, whatever you want to call it. And that is getting good at sales and making sure you're able to land a good offer. You need to be able to refine your sales skills in a certain way that you can portray it on your interviews, you can portray it on applications, so that then you can go on to actually land the role and have, monumental success with it. So let's jump into it. Now, the first thing I really want to address is, why it's easy. Well, the thing is, there has never been more online sales jobs than there is today. Within the Club Closer community alone, we're seeing, 5 to 10 new job postings every single day getting shared. Now, that's within just 500 sales reps that we've worked with, closing in on 600. There are probably a hell of a lot more, and I know there's a hell of a lot more roles out there getting posted every single day. There are hundreds of thousands of online businesses already that are hiring sales reps. But on top of that, everything is getting digitalized. A lot of businesses are moving online. And if you think about it from two perspectives, you can first think about it from the business owner perspective, in which if they're able to go online, they're probably able to make more money because they don't have an office. They're not kind of doing everything in-house. They're able to hire contractors like yourself, like these remote sales reps that are happy to work on commission only, which means for you, as a sales rep, you're able to make more money. This is an awful drawing, but I hope you get the idea. So as a sales rep, you're able to make a lot more money online, and as a business owner, they're able to make a lot more money online. So it only makes sense that they kind of move towards this model. And one of the biggest industries in this space right now is the online education space. A lot of people are moving away from traditional education, such as university, which costs an absolute arm and a leg. People are able to take a fraction of what it costs to go to university and apply it to learning a very specific skill, whether that's starting their own business, whether that's learning sales, such as what we do in Club Closer, and they're able to learn that skill for a fraction of the price of what it costs to go to university. And just some figures to kind of show you this. The online education space is expected to be a $200 billion industry this year, and it's got kind of an 8% growth rate. So this industry as a whole is growing rapidly. And obviously, if an industry is growing, that means there's going to be more job opportunities. The industry is going to need more talent coming into it, which obviously for you as a sales rep, they're going to need more of you. They're going to need a hell of a lot more of you. So the opportunities for online sales reps is huge right now. And of course, it's a big industry. There are a lot of people entering the space every single day. So yeah, it is competitive. But if you're good at sales and you can find these good opportunities, you can have a lot of success, right? So I want you to go into this with that mindset of it has never been easier. It's never been easier to land a job. Obviously, with these online roles, you've also got the added benefit that they are 100% remote. You can work for companies internationally. You can be in the UK, you can work for an American company, you can be in the US and you can work for a Australian company, or you could be in Europe and work for any European company. You could work for anyone. So by tapping into this online sales industry, you're actually opening up a lot more doors and giving yourselves a lot more opportunities than you might currently have if you are working a sales job that is more of a 9 to 5, more of a corporate role, which does require you to go into an office. So it truly has never been easier. But this is why you're struggling. Now, the first thing I want you to do when you're applying to these roles and when you're applying for online sales roles is think about it like it's your biggest sale, because it probably is. Oh, let's start that again. Now to dive into things, the first thing I really want you to think about when you're applying for these online sales jobs is think about it like a sale. applying for this role is truly going to be your biggest sale, because by landing the job alone, you're going to be able to earn 6 figures plus a year. Now, once you've landed a role, you might be selling a 5K product and you're making 10% commission, which is going to work out at $500 per sale, right? And that's going to take you, sales calls traditionally take an hour, right? Obviously, if you're applying for a role and you vetted the company, you can see like their sales reps are currently making 6 figures plus a year, 10K plus a month. You're going to be able to make 100K from this one sale. And often, like a job application, really, it's probably 1 hour of work, right? It's probably going to take you 1 hour of work to make sure you land that 100K opportunity. Now, I'm not naive. Obviously, once you land that role, you are going to have to put in the work. You are going to have to work hard, and you are going to have to get sales, and you are going to have to do this on a daily basis to make sure that you keep making money. But simply by putting in the work for that 1 hour into that job application, you're going to be able to make a lot more money. And what exactly do I mean by thinking about this like your biggest sale? Well, a lot of the times when you're applying for these roles, business owners are looking within the applications, and what I've done and what I do when I'm hiring sales rep in my team is I'm looking for attributes that person is demonstrating within their application process that I know that if they've got them, or if they're doing it in their application, they're probably going to do it on sales calls. So I'm looking for whether, if you had a sale and you're taking a 1 hour call, you're going to put a lot of time into it. You're going to go through the discovery. You're going to take time to pitch. You're going to take time to objection handle. And if they don't close, you're going to follow up with them. You're going to follow up with them like probably a few times to make sure you get them across the line. These are all things you can start to demonstrate within your application, right? You want to make sure that, and I'll come on to this, that you understand the business, you understand the role, which is going to be your discovery. You're going to make sure that you can pitch yourself effectively. How can I best tailor myself and my pitch to demonstrate that I'm the good fit for this role? And then objection handling, I would say obviously that's not really something you're going to do. But if you're on an interview and you start asking someone like, do you think I'm a good fit for the role based on my interview? How do you think I fare? And they obviously highlight some weaknesses or some things that maybe you could have done better. That's an opportunity for you to sell them on yourself, right? And obviously if you're sending these applications out, of course, follow up. It's a key attribute in the sales process. I know sales managers within the industry that they'll put out a job posting, they'll get a load of applications in, they'll interview them, and then they won't reach back out to them. They'll wait and they'll be like, okay, let me see if this person is actually going to follow up with me and how many times they follow up with me. So I know that they have that skill set. They're actually aware that follow-up is such a critical part of the sales process. And if they don't do it, they're shooting themselves in the foot. They might not get the role because of it. So you actually want to make sure you're following up with every single application you put out, whether you've landed an interview yet or you've gone on an interview and you haven't heard back from them. Make sure you continue to follow up. I've had people follow up with me like crazy, even just to land an interview, and albeit their application might not have been the strongest, purely because they've demonstrated that kind of relentless energy and the consistency and the conviction that they think they would be a great fit for the role by following up with me many times on many different platforms. I know that they've got those skills, and that's something I want to hire in my team. So really begin to look at every single application you look at as your biggest sale, because simply by getting yourself in that position where you are on that team, you have your calendar slots open, you're only then positioning yourself where you can make money. So this is really the most important thing. Think about every single job application as a sale, because it is going to be your biggest. And to follow on from that, when you are reaching out to roles, you want to make sure you're tailoring every single one. Each application you put out has to be personalized. Otherwise, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Now, I've had it countless times where, every single job application we put out, and it's very common within the online space, that business owners ask for videos. They want to see these Loom videos. They want to see that you, as an individual, can demonstrate yourself on video, on call, what's your demeanor like, what's your energy like, how much conviction do you have around your sales skills simply by talking about them. So you're going to have to send these videos out of yourself to the business owner, demonstrating that, I'm a good person. I've got good energy, I can talk well, I'm articulate, and I'd be a great fit for the role. But if I get one of these applications, as oftentimes I do, and as oftentimes a lot of business owners do, and I see that it's got 20 views on it already, you know what I do? I immediately delete that application, right? I delete it because that doesn't show me that someone has truly put effort into their application, and the output that they've had to do is incredibly low, right? They've simply filmed one video, thought that'll do, and I'll send that round on all my applications, right? They don't mention the company name. They don't talk about why they'd be a good fit specifically for the company. They might not even really know what we do, right? So if their output is low and they're putting no effort into actually getting the job in the first place, what does that tell me about that person when they do land the role, right? Well, likelihood is their output, again, on sales calls is going to be low. They're not going to try that hard because they haven't even tried that hard to get the job. And that shows me that their output on follow-ups is going to be low. They're not going to try that hard. Their output on maybe even objection handling is going to be low because they're not putting that much effort in. Their output in terms of training and the time they're putting into improving their skills and making sure they're getting better is going to be low. So by simply not tailoring each application, it doesn't demonstrate any skill or any attribute that I want on my team. So I simply delete that video straight away because I'm not interested in watching someone that isn't willing to put in the work to actually give me a genuine application, a tailored application as to why they'd be a good fit for my company. And I'm sure I speak for, a lot of business owners in the space and the exact same thing, right? So make sure each application you're doing, you're taking the time to either film that video, answer those questions on the application form with respect to the business you are actually applying to work for. And coming on to that, the next part is do your research, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people will start applying for jobs, they'll see anything and they'll just shoot out these applications, and whether they tailored them or not, they don't know anything about the business. Now, one of the first questions I ask on an interview, if someone gets on a call, is, what do you know about the company? What do we sell? If someone can't answer that question out the gate, I cut the interview short. I shut it down. I say, thanks for your time, but no, you're not a good fit. You haven't taken the time to research the company for the role you're applying for. And obviously, all these businesses are online. So they have a big online presence. When you're applying for a role, it is very easy to go and do your due diligence, do your research, and see what that company does, what they sell, how they sell it, what success they're having, how they market. All of this stuff you want to get a good understanding of. So you want to do your research. You want to look at their website. You want to get a good understanding. Go through their VSL. Go through their sales process. Understand it. You want to look at their socials. You want to see what they're posting online. You want to see how they market themselves so that then you can talk about it on the interview. On top of that, you maybe want to do research like on the business owner. What have they done before? How long have they had the business? What success have they had? What do they like to do? Because when you jump on that call, you can build that rapport. You can speak with that business owner. And again, it might not be a business owner. It could be the sales manager. But it still demonstrates that you've put time and energy into actually learning about that company. You want to look at the sales process, which obviously links back to looking at the website and understanding it, right? And another really key one to look at is the success of not only the business, but also the clients. You can go and look at those clients, see the testimonials, see the student interviews, see the trust pilot, see everything about the business, and see what results they're actually delivering for their clients. And you can speak about that. Because if you don't do this and you don't have, and what this really comes down to and what you want to do is it all kind of comes back to conviction. If you don't research the company, if you don't have a strong understanding of them, how can you show up to an interview or fill an application with conviction that if you landed that role, you would actually crush it and you would do well and you would get sales? Frankly, you can't, right? You can't. If you can't see that, okay, this company, this is what they sell, I believe in what they sell, and I can see they've got student results and they've got client testimonials, and anyone they work with, they actually do get results for, and whatever they want to call the people they work with, their prospects, clients, students, whatever. If you can't see that, how can you show up on that interview and know that when I do sell this product, I'm going to have absolute belief and faith that this is a great product and I can sell it well? Because energy and conviction is so important in sales, and it's something that a lot of people miss. I don't believe you can just rock up on any offer and sell it well unless you truly understand what it is you're selling and the effect it might have on that individual that buys it. So make sure you do your research, not only so that when you rock up on these interviews, you can talk about it with confidence and you have the knowledge, but also so that you're filling your own conviction that actually, I know I could sell this really well because I understand it. Now, frankly, all of this is pointless. And these 3 points are really key. And these 3 points are really key. Treat every single job application, every single interview like a sale, like your biggest sale, because it is. Make sure you tailor every single one, and make sure you're doing your research so you fully understand what you're applying for and give yourself the conviction that you can sell it and you're knowledgeable on it. But all of this is absolutely pointless if you don't but all of this is absolutely pointless unless you take the time to actually learn to sell first. Because this is a big mistake a lot of sales reps make. A lot of beginner sales reps make. Yes, the industry is growing. Yes, there is more opportunities than ever within this space. But a lot of people think because there's more opportunities and because there is a high demand for sales reps right now, it's easy to land a role. And sure, this might not be your bottleneck. Maybe you are great at actually going through the application process and you're landing a role. And you could be incredibly lucky that you could land an opportunity out the gate, 10K a month, all the sales reps on the team are doing it, company's awesome, marketing's awesome, lead flow is great, calendars are full, everything looks awesome. But the problem is, you're not good at sales yet. So when you jump on calls, you're not able to close anyone. And therefore you're not able to make any money. Because if you don't learn to sell first, and you do land these opportunities, you're going to have a calendar full of calls, which is great. And there is so much money to be made. But unfortunately, your skill set is not there. So therefore, you make zero, right? You make nothing. So above all else, you need to learn to sell first. And even if you do land an opportunity and you lose it, that's going to suck. But coming back to the conviction point, if you don't have confidence in your own sales ability and you don't have confidence that when you do land an offer, you can actually sell it and you can make money with it, then people are going to see that. It's very easy to see when you get these video applications from sales reps or potential sales reps, or you can see it in the actual interview themselves, that this individual they don't have the confidence, they don't have the conviction, because in the way they speak, in the way they show up, in the way they hold themselves, They can't articulate their points well. They can't even speak passionately about knowing that I know everything about sales and I know if I jumped on your offer, I'd absolutely crush it. And I can say that with confidence and conviction because I fancy myself as quite a good salesman at this point. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't. But if you asked me that, 6-7 years ago, when I knew nothing about sales, and I did try and apply for one of these high ticket sales roles, I would fall on my ass, right? I wouldn't get anywhere. And that might be your issue. Your issue could be that your skill set isn't there yet. So above everything else we spoke about, this is really the most important thing. You need to learn to sell first. You need to make sure you have the confidence, you have the conviction in your sales ability, so that when you do go apply for these roles and you apply all the previous points, you can do it with conviction and energy, because that is ultimately one of the most important parts of selling. I hope this helps.